her, she's testing you, you go too far, she, pushes you a little bit further, then all of a sudden the whole thing's a big shit show, So in today's video, we want to talk about something that's quite serious, right? And it's what we see with our clients, but not just our clients that went on a tour with us or that, did Rocket Match, but also through all of the coaching calls that we've done over the last couple of years. Where there is some sort of a conflict, right? And we think that we can identify the major point pretty close to, I think, where you and the woman that you have met over in Ukraine will break up. And I think that if any other company is watching our videos, which we know you do, you'll agree with this as well, right? So there's so what actually happens is that even though you come over to Ukraine with the best intentions and you have, you want to have a family, right? You want to maybe have a family. You're serious,
you're motivated.
You're serious, you're motivated, and so is she, right? But as human beings, we can be skeptical at times, right? And not just in dating, but just with anything, right? In business or whatever, or you're going to go buy something from the shop and you think, well, hang on, is this covered by the warranty? Or, just bought a car off this guy. Is he going to deliver on what he said or whatever it is? We're just skeptical by nature. And I think it's because we've been through so many years, we've had so many bad things happen along the way. And we realize that, it's not a perfect place where we live in. And so what happens is that you go and you meet a woman and you have an amazing attraction with her, right? You have this this burning desire that comes with it. But you have this feeling, is she serious? Does she want me for my money? Is she dating another man? And you kind of look for these little signs that something might be wrong, right? And sometimes you jump on these things as well, right? And we as men, we're very practical. We think of practical things, right? Women also have these same insecurities as well, but they're more emotional. And men that are practical and women that are emotional is like oil and water. They just don't go together, right? And so this is what we think. Lou and I talk about this quite a lot, especially like when something pops up with our clients. And we've mentioned this before in our other videos, is that all of our clients that have met women, got engaged. What's that?
Oh, I thought that you will say that they have to be back.
Well, yeah, they have to be back, but there's always a point where they should have broken up, or they could have broken up, I should say. And then we step in and I say to the guy, look, this is what always happens. And I explain what I'm going to explain to you guys in this here. And Luba has to explain the same thing as well. And they go back together and, we sort of manage to smooth it out. And I reckon that is the reason why we have, relatively good success, I don't want to say like 100% success, but we have pretty good success, right? It's because we're there and we understand why it is. And so what actually happens is that the guy second guesses her. He said, and we see this a lot, right? It's like, oh, she's just after money. She asked me to buy, or she hinted, or she insinuated, or she did something, well, I'm supposed to buy something, and I'm not going to buy something for her, because if I don't buy something for her and she's still with me, that means she's not with me because of my money, right? So he's testing, he's pushing the boundaries, he's trying to find where it is,
Same as she, she
exactly.
is trying to...
Same as her. So when she says something like, or hints, that, she wants something, or she doesn't necessarily want something. She's not necessarily looking at him going, I want him to buy me this item, whatever it is. But she's just seeing what would happen if she put it out there, because she's also testing. She's also thinking, what does he want? Is he dating other women? Is he serious? Is he legit? Like, is he he says that he wants this and this, but her intuition...
Is he really doing that or no?
Her intuition is saying, I need to figure this out properly. Because if you look at this from an evolutionary point of view, right? So a woman is an extremely valuable resource from an evolutionary standpoint. She has one egg, she has one person. It takes many, many years before that egg starts to drop, and it's only available for a short period of years, right? Men, we're firing out millions. Like we can just fire. From an evolutionary standpoint, we have to look at it from that.
So excited.
So from her point of view, she needs to make sure that she doesn't make a mistake. Okay. From the guy's point of view, he spent all this money and he's come over here and he also doesn't want to make a mistake. So they test each other, And so he'll she'll test him. Usually it's her that tests him first with something along the lines of providing for her in terms of security, resources, provisions, whatever. And then he'll step back and say, oh, is that what she's after? And she'll say, oh, okay, so I see that he's not going to be there for me when I move to the United States or UK or wherever it is. And I've got how can I trust this man? And then so he'll say something like, I thought all you wanted was just money. And she says, well, if you can't take care of me, and then blah, 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 blah. And they say, okay, you're obviously not serious. You're obviously not serious. And then bang, the relationship goes like this, right?
Unfortunately, and here I want to step in and say that, what Striker is saying is exactly like it's like in a book, it's not happening.
It's a script.
It's script like for absolutely every
We
single
see it.
relationship, and we see it all the time. And when we are finishing the tour, I always I sit in front of like the guy and the woman, doesn't matter does she speak English or no. I always say one thing. I say, you need to agree about how you're gonna talk, like how often you can talk on video. Just talk about this while you're here, while you see each other, and just say that if you, for example, like have something going on and you can talk only one time a week, just agree about that. And also say and understand that all you do in your communication, you do with the best intentions. This is very important. You need to explain to each other that you have zero intention to hurt each other. You have no when you message something, sometimes like what usually happening, even the small things, as Striker say, ladies are very emotional, and they can be mad about some certain thing in a message. He can joke something about, and she will be mad, like, what do you mean by that? Are you thinking that I'm like what? And the lady can cause a huge fight of something small that the guy was just saying because he thought it's funny. He thought, and because of this, the guys really going inside their shell, and they don't do that. And then the lady think, why he's so boring? Why he's like this and that. And sometimes guy thinking is like, oh my God, it's better to be quiet, to not do anything, to not offend her. So when you communicate with your lady, and when you are together, you need to really look into each other's eyes and say, I don't want to hurt you. My intentions, we can have a miscommunication. We can have some some misunderstandings, but I'm telling you that all I do for you is with the best intentions and heart. And what we have, Sergey is right, there is some certain point in relationship of our clients that really we have to just jump into that relationship.
It's between 2 and 3 months.
2 and 3 months, and it's we need to jump into this relationship to just explain whoa, just wait a second, because I can give a short example. It was the lady and the guy, and they was talking, but the guy is really very introverted, he's very close, he always keep everything inside him, and we will do the video about introverted guys. I think it's interesting topic, but in his case, he was in military, so he was at the war, and he really didn't share this stuff. And she was asking him some question, and instead of saying dear, I will tell you this later, I don't feel comfortable talking about that, he just ignored that. He literally ignored. And so it was during the month, and then second month, and then she called me and said, Luba, I don't think that it's gonna work. I say, why is that? And she say, he doesn't want to share with me. He probably talking to somebody else. He is not serious. He is not sharing with me. He's not opening himself to me, because I'm asking him questions and he's just ignoring and just talking about something random. It was very strange, because I definitely knew that he likes her. I definitely knew that that he's not talking to anybody else. And I was thinking what is the problem? And then I called him, because I knew a little bit more than this lady about his past, and he shared with me, and I really appreciate all of our guys that share their personal stories with me, and I'm always there for you and Striker to listen to advice and help. And so he told me, and he said, yeah, Lu, I said, why are you ignoring these questions? He said, you know me, I feel very bad, I feel very uncomfortable talking about that. And I say, but say that to her, because she's thinking that you're ignoring not the question, you're ignoring the whole her. Right? You're ignoring her, and you don't want to stay in touch with her because you're closing. And when he said that, when I told him, he said, oh my God, I don't want to lose her. And I even have a message that I can read for you where he say Luba, thank you so much. I would never forgive myself if I would lose this woman. They're engaged now, and they're opening the visa now. So this is very important to be able to talk. And if something is bothering you, it's better to say that and say, this.
Yeah, when we first were sitting down and thinking, we were like, what is Heart Rocket? After it was just about the course in there. How can we make it so that we can have some success? Have some success within our clients, right? Because it's very, very difficult, because we can't control what other people do, right? And I knew that through my experiences. Luba also knew that as well. And so it was like, there's this little point in time, and actually I'll put a video here about the 3-month wall, I think I call it, whatever, back in the day that I did maybe a couple of years ago. And I understood that from a very, very lower level, why these relationships like break up. And over time, I've understood it more and more and more. And then it's so good that we have these experiences with our clients, but even like people that aren't. Remember, we had like a call, like I think maybe last week, the week before, when the guy was talking about how they broke up and it just didn't work out. And I told him, I pretty much said to him exactly what I've said to you guys here. And he was just nodding the whole time. Like you know it when someone tells it to you, and you have to think about it beforehand and realize that, you know, most of these other companies, whatever, but they'll, and I've heard them say this before, they'll make a comment like, oh, he was useless. Oh, he just couldn't hold it together. He's got no idea what he's doing, because the relationship fell apart. So they look at it at that point of view. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like there was a misunderstanding, and all that is needed to happen is somebody who understands him needs to talk to him, somebody that understands her needs to talk to her, and just say to them, like, look, they both understand. Luba and I give ourselves like a text message, yeah, let's go. They come back together and the relationship continues. That's not to say that they won't have issues down the road, but at least we saved it at that point, and they've overcome the first major hurdle where 90% of all these relationships end.
And it may not work, like maybe you just like not meant to be. And usually it's happening like when the guys is calling us, like we had a story like last year when the guy was in a relationship with a woman, and he asked me, like we actually have like 2 or 3 guys right now who is not our clients, but they met the ladies, and like that agency is not really supporting them like according to answering the questions, and I'm doing the coaching sessions with them like once a month or something to like help and understand. And to be honest, there is one couple that I understand that his feelings to her are super high, but it is absolutely, it's a book example of a toxic relationship for the man, because she is ruining and like poisoning his life, but he thinks that he's attracted to her and he can't do it. So not all of the relationship like meant to be, right? Like not all of the relationship is going to to work, but most of them I would say, if you are passing this 3-month wall, like these first problems, and you understand that like, yes, the lady wants to know, will you be able to provide her normal life when she moves, because she won't be able to work. Yes, you would like to know that she's serious about you and not just asking for these purses and perfumes. Like I understand that. So that's why I think it's one more plus to using the matchmaking service, when you have somebody who is like the third party who can just talk to both of you and find out, what's going on, and is it really right or wrong? Is it really like she's just testing you to see, what, like she wants to get the best, or she's just like she doesn't know any better, like how to make sure that you are the right one for her.
See, there's different, like for every single person, it's different and it's difficult. And then you introduce another person, and it doesn't become twice as difficult, it becomes exponentially way more, 10 times difficult, because there's 2 sets of different feelings. And so I know who Luba was talking about in that one there. Like he didn't use our service for the matchmaking, and he should have had more options in order to compare. That's when we say to you guys, like, you should have more than one option. This
we mean that.
This case here is a classic case of one-itis with a toxic woman, and this is why we say it, to avoid these situations, right? So, but there's many different scenarios, right? Maybe you shouldn't date 3 ladies, maybe just 2, but we can't say these things all on a video. It all comes down to,
and also,
different situations.
We don't know,
we
don't know what is exactly happening with you. And we have a story when the guy really was usually it's like communication with 2 or 3 ladies, and then it's like naturally, just organically finished, and then there's one left. But it took a little bit longer for him to understand that he actually wants to be exactly with this one, even though at the beginning he thought about other one. But then it was a case when she showed herself as a like as a poison, not even toxic, like it was a poison to his life, and that's it. But now, you know, both of them are happy because she find a man who is like strong, and he say, you know, you girl, you're sitting there or something like that, and he is in a relationship where, you know, he is very well appreciated. So there is no recipe for, like, there is no one unique recipe that we can give you. Like every single situation is very, very personal, different.
Yeah.
And
like we could look at it, and like, we're pretty good, I think, between Luba and I, like, looking at it and saying, yeah, it's shit test. Okay, you like clearly failed that shit test, and now she's going to walk all over you for the next, you know, however long, until you like step back up and you know, like put the relationship into its place. But we can't say that on a video and say, you need to do this if this happens, right? There's no tick boxes, and we get to the next one and it's like, you need to do this. It's all different, you know. You might be testing her, she's testing you, you go too far, she, you know, pushes you a little bit further, then all of a sudden the whole thing's a big shit show, you know. This is extremely common. You have to understand it, that it does have its hurdles, right? And, you know, I've always said this in life in general, is that when you get to a hurdle and it's like, man, I just want to quit, I've had enough, I always remind myself this, and I've done this for like probably the last 10 years, is that I think to myself, this is where everybody else would quit. And so if you keep going, you know, you get to the next one, this is where everybody else would quit, you know. So people, I would say, I don't know what the statistic is, I don't even know if it's worth trying to guess anything, but a lot of people, when they get to that, with no support, with nobody saying, hey, look, just relax, let's talk about it, you know what you're going through. I know like so many guys, all of our clients that are married, they all went through it too, you know, and that's, a lot of it is that. It's just, it's normal, you know, and if you explain it beforehand, they don't get it. You explain it as they go through it, through these steps. They all went through it. Like you look at these weddings, they all went through it. If it wasn't for us going, hey, come on, let's go and have a quick chat, you know, then they get back on it, they probably wouldn't get married. You know, they probably wouldn't stay together.
Yes,
in fact, I believe that, like, I say this quite often, that most of our couples, if we didn't step in around that 2-3 month wall, that will finish.
And the funny part is that it's nothing major. It's nothing like this example that I gave, is that, you know, it was just like he didn't want to talk about the war stuff and she wants to know. And like sometimes it's getting like the way too ridiculous. Like honestly, sometimes the lady can ask a question that usually it's like the lady who is getting moody and like she upset about the guy. But sometimes it's
I'll disagree with that. I think a lot of the times it's the guys that
but the guys as well.
With.
But you know, like there was like it's kind of like stupid example. There was another guy who was during the war, and the lady, you know, she, like I was like literally 2 times it happened during the year when the lady is asking, so you've been at the war, how many people you killed? And the guy is like, and she was like asking it in such a light and easy way. And the guy is like, you should see, like, I saw it twice. It was 2 different guys. It was horrible. But to be honest, like, she was just absolutely, like, she never been there. She doesn't know. And she doesn't understand. And for her, it was just a question that, it's stupid. Yeah. It's stupid. I'm not saying it's completely like showing that she's like a little bit need to read some books, but in the same time, like she was just like, you know, asking and it was kind of in conversations and like, should he give up on her and think like, oh, she's a bitch? No, she just, like, I talked to her, said like, it's not really like a question that you should ask. And she, really? I didn't think about that. So there's always 2 sides of the story, and don't judge.
I think in this there's like, it's like a quadrahedric hexagon.
The relationship,
it's just so many different
sides and angles. But again, you need to know that if you're starting the relationship, you need to have the mindset that you are doing everything the best for this relationship. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it will work if you don't overthink stuff. If she didn't open the message or she didn't respond to you at the same very moment, it doesn't mean that she is like ignoring you. It just means that, you know, she will respond later. And all of us have different like life and streams and like and of course it's very cool when you're on the same page and when you are absolutely match, you know, like these puzzles, and you know, you're messaging each other at the same time.
Sometimes that comes after the hurdle.
Yes,
doesn't it?
Yes, because like our couple Doug actually posted there. Like it was not, everything was not like super great, but he said they're waiting for the visa, and like since they met, it's a year, so they have a year of anniversary. And I posted on Telegram group, and he said like it haven't been a day without the video call. So they managed that, to do that. They enjoy that. You know, he's doing his stuff in the morning, she's doing during the day. So they talking every single day. But they figure it out, and it's complete match when people just doing it like this. But not for everybody. Like somebody will do it twice a week. But be careful with that, and don't overthink, and don't be stressed about that. This is important.
And like if you guys have been watching this till now and you're thinking, oh, I would never do anything like that, I'm telling you that you probably will, because the chances of you going through that emotion of because I went through it with when I first came over to Ukraine, I went through it as well. I was thinking, well, hang on, what's going on here? Like she's also thinking as he said. Like I've been through it, so I fully get it. And this is probably another topic for another video, but it's like it's a very, very emotional journey. This is not dating down at the local bar, you know, going on a date and hey, everything's great, you go out for some coffee. It's not that. There's a lot of time and money and emotions that are invested into this, and those emotions, man, they're like they're like a balloon of water that can pop at any time, right? If you're not careful about it. It's very, very fragile, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
For some guys, not for everyone, right? And you got to really, really, before you come over here, think about it, about how you're going to keep that under wraps, because a lot of guys that come over have baggage, a lot of women as well. A lot of guys got divorce rates, can't see their kids, blah, blah, blah. Now they want to move on with their life, and they feel like this is the way to do it with international dating, and they kind of bring that with them. And it's a very, like, it's ready to pop at any time. And sometimes a woman ignoring your messages or shit testing you can make it pop. You break up, you can kind of look a bit stupid. She's very embarrassed that she even knew you, so you got to keep this under wraps, you know. So anyway, topic for another day. I forgot what this topic was about. Main cause for a breakup. That's right.
So we hope that your relationship is different, and you are, great and sound, and you staying in touch. And as you remember, we have a course for the ones who are planning their trip to Ukraine. It's everything you need to know before you come to Ukraine, while you're in Ukraine, and when you leave. This is something that
it's about 50 videos.
50 videos, and it helps you a lot about defining the relationship and the relationship itself. So we will be happy to assist you on your journey, and we see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time.